Hey you guys, we are down to our last couple of days here. And before I am done with you, I can't forget to give you another cheesy math joke. So here we go. Why was the middle school textbook in the hospital? Because it hurt his spine. All right, so here we are. We are on our last Monday together. Woot woot. Um, what we're going to do today and tomorrow is learn a little bit about Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so today is a little bit longer with the notes just to give you the background information of what this applies to. So here is how you spell it. And I spell very slowly because it's a lot of vowels and weirdness and that, but Pythagorean theorem, developed, created by Pythagoras, long, long, long time ago. Now, the Pythagorean theorem is to find the side length of a right triangle. Okay, so I'm going to write this on the side over here. Used to find lengths of I almost turned that into one word there, right triangle. Not the angles, the lengths, and it has to be a right triangle. So you have to see that right angle in there. Now, the A and the B are called legs. I know, kind of a funny name, but they are called legs. Both A and B are connected to the right angle, and you'll see that on the Pythagorean theorem, they're on the same side of the equal sign. Then C is called your hypotenuse. So you thought Pythagorean was hard to spell. Here we go. I got to think about this. Hypotenuse. There we go. I think that's right. Hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle. Okay? It's also your longest side. So A and B, those lengths, should always be smaller numbers than C. So today's goal is going to be to apply Pythagorean theorem and solve for C. So that's the only one that we're solving for. So your first example is a diagram with A and B labeled and C that we're going to start with. So the first thing that I do is I make sure I label, well, this will be A, so 4 is A, 3 will be B, and then my unknown is C. And then I'm going to go ahead and quickly recopy the formula. I think I got space right here to do it. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And then from here, I'm going to substitute 4 in for A. Make sure that the squared is dropped down, put 3 in for B, again make sure squared is dropped down, and then drop down C squared. The next step here is actually to square the numbers. So 4 squared is 16, 3 squared is 9, and then drop down C squared. We're going to go ahead and add together 16 plus 9, and that's 25, drop down C squared. Remember, our goal is to solve for just plain C. So if I have C squared, remember we always do inverse operations to solve for a variable. So the inverse of squaring, if you remember, is square root. And if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. So my final answer, C equals 5. Okay, so I could go ahead and write down C equals 5 meters. Okay, now if you have to if you don't get a perfect square like 25, we're going to have to make sure we use a calculator, and we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay? And so that's what example number 2 will show you. So example number 2, it tells you the legs are 11 centimeters and 16 centimeters. So it's telling me the legs. And I'm going to go ahead and label the first one as A, the second one as B. And you know what? I guess I didn't point this out so much on the last one, but since right here at this step, how A and B are added together, If you remember from your commutative property, order does not matter. 16 plus 9 is 25, but so is 9 plus 16. So order does not matter when it's on the same side of the equal sign. So again, for number 2, my first step is going to be to recopy the formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. My next step here is to go ahead and make my substitution. So 11 will go in for a, so I have 11 squared. 16 will go in for b, so I have 16 squared, and drop that down. Now my next step is to square these. I know 11 squared is 121. 16, I am always not 100% sure, so I always just double check. So I brought my calculator over to help. 16 squared, we get 256. So I'll put that in there. Then my next step is to add this up. So 256 plus 121, we get 377 equals c squared. Now again, our last step to solve for c will be to find the square root. Okay, and when I find the square root in my calculator, so that is 377, I do not get an exact answer. Okay, I'm going to round to the hundredth, so I have 19 and 42 hundredths. So C is approximately, so I'm going to put in my squiggle lines to show that I have rounded 19 and 42 hundredths centimeters. Okay, and our last problem is a story problem. A house has a ladder leaning on the side of it. How long is the ladder if you set it 4 feet from the base of the house and the window is 20 feet from the ground? So what you need to do whenever you do a story problem is create a diagram of the story problem, or at least the right triangle, so you can label the sides appropriately. So a house has a ladder leaning against the side of it. So if this is my house, see, there's the window and the door. Here's the ladder leaning against it, okay? And then I have my ground, and thus my right triangle. So I know that this will be C, and I can go ahead and label this A and that B. So how long is the ladder? How long is the ladder? So this tells me C is my unknown. If you set it 4 feet from the base of the house, 4 feet from the base, so that means B is 4, and the window is 20 feet from the ground. So it's going up to the top of the window, so A is 20. All right, so this is going to be your challenge. You do have a few story problems on today's Google form, maybe 3 if I remember correctly, to be able to solve these, okay? But if you run into any issues, please, again, make sure you email me. So to go ahead and solve this, again, we're going to start by writing down the Pythagorean theorem, and then my next step is to make my substitution. So I'm going to put 20 in for A, so I have 20 squared, 4 in for B, so 4 squared, and then drop down that c squared. We're solving for c. So 20 squared is 400. 4 squared is 16. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and add that up. I get 416 is equal to c squared. Remember, to solve for c, we do the inverse, which is square root. If we do it to one side, we must do it to the other. And I do not believe this is a perfect square, so square root of 416, it is not. So we're going to go ahead and round that. It is about 20 and 40 hundredths. So about 20 and 40 hundredths feet. All right, that's it for today's notes. One more day of Pythagorean theorem, and that's pretty much it. So whoop whoop. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.